Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're listening to us. I hope you're having a great day. I am your host, Sterling Silver Reigns. Yes, my actual middle name is Silver.
It's not.
It's George. But anyway.
It's not, but we call him Silver.
Yeah, Silver is a cool name. Anyway.
Why don't I get a cool name?
You have bones.
Well, that's just... We'll discuss that later.
Anyway,
You
Evan
don't
is a
like
skinny
Bones?
guy. But anyway, let's
That's
get
not the only reason we call him Bones.
Okay,
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Anyway, these two wacky guys are my co-hosts, Matt Pulaski and Evan
Hello.
Rada. Matt, please introduce yourself. And how are you doing today, by the way?
I'm doing fantastic. I just got off work. I'm literally in my work garb. I don't know if that's the correct word to use, but I'm going to use it. I'm in my garb. Yeah, so I'm pretty much the co-host. So, yeah.
Evan? How are you doing
Well,
today?
how do I look like I'm doing?
You don't look good.
Exactly.
All
I'm Evan. I'm basically the sound guy. I rarely go by my last name, so...
Which is what?
Weird, useless comment, but...
What is your last name, by the way?
You just said my last name,
That's
didn't you?
right.
Evan Rada.
So-
But I got to say something. No joke, in our hometown of Wichita, Kansas, Evan is known as just Evan. And people know him like that. It's really weird. It's almost like he's a local celebrity because everyone
Okay.
knows who Evan is. But anyway, that's why he goes by Evan usually.
Well, anyway, welcome to the show. We don't really have a title. Well, I wanted a title to be called A Fresh Perspective. But, Matt, did you have any ideas for a title that you wanted to share with the audience?
Not really. I was
Okay.
thinking something like "What's Up with Central" or something like that. But
Yeah.
no matter what we pick, it's gonna sound cheesy, and it's gonna sound a little bit
Yes.
lame.
I really like Central Uncensored, but unfortunately they do censor us here. So.
Central
That is-
Uncensored. Okay. Anyway, leave a comment about what you would like what would you like our show to be titled? What do you think? I mean, this is something that can develop, but we'd like to get a title soon. so.
Yes. Anyway, I believe our first story today is going to be given to us by Evan. Evan, what is your story?
Well, I have a story about a Russian guy who wrote his own fine print
It's always a Russian guy, isn't it?
into his credit card contract. Let me see if I can find it.
Is he part of the Russian mafia?
Okay, anyway, basically what happened is this guy's a genius. He wrote his own fine print
He's not part of the Russian mafia.
into his credit card contract before he signed it. And when he signed it off, he went and bought a bunch of crap. And the credit card company decided that he was overdrawn and they wanted to sue him basically. Well, they lost the lawsuit because of what he had written in. So he could withdraw as much as he wanted, and all he had to pay was his monthly fees. That was the only thing he had to pay.
Okay, so he wrote that into his own contract. He basically wrote like that he could withdraw or whatever he wants, or use the credit card freely and just pay the monthly fee.
Pretty much.
And he won the case.
He won the case.
Wow.
He sued them.
because the
Seriously?
court looked at it as a legal document. This is hilarious.
But
seriously?
It is. But I have a couple questions. Did he just pull out a pen and write it, or did he find the document, go into Word document or something, and just type it out
No, honestly, he wrote it on the document that he signed.
in pen?
I'm assuming so.
He just
It didn't elaborate on that.
How
part.
can I get away with this? I would not be able to get away with this.
You just do what he did.
That's true.
I think it's because people just don't assume that kind of stuff will work, but I mean, that kind of stuff can work.
Yeah.
I've heard numerous stories that are similar to this.
Anything else to that story?
That's about. Well, I thought you guys would want to comment on it a little bit more. That's why I brought up such a short one, because it's so hilarious. It's short and sweet. So,
Here's the thing about contracts that scare me. If this guy can do that and get away with it, who's to say it can't go the other way? And, you download a new app and it says, here's the agreement. Nobody ever reads the agreement. You click OK, and there's something in there.
and you become part of a human centipede.
No, I know what you're referencing to, and I knew that you were going to think
Don't
that.
watch
That's
that
not
movie,
what
by
I'm
the way,
admitting.
please. For the sake.
We're talking
Of your
about the
soul.
South Park episode.
We're talking about a parody of something terrible. So
Yes.
both of the things we mentioned
Don't watch it, please.
shouldn't have been mentioned.
Anyway.
But either way, the point is, They made a valid point in that South Park episode. The South Park episode, he updates his iTunes, I believe, and he pushes OK and agrees to it without reading it. Well, everyone else in the world apparently read the whole thing. Well, he didn't, and he ends up getting part of this program for the new iPad. I'm not going to mention the details because it's a little grotesque, but the point is that kind of thing could that seriously happen in real life? What do you think?
I don't think it would be that exaggerated.
I know it wouldn't, yeah, because that would be like illegal.
That is against the law,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but in terms of like them writing something like you have to give us all your assets or something, what if it said like if you uninstall this program you have to give us all of your assets, so you like have to give them crap.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really like a lame way of saying it, or like a really simple one, but it's an idea.
Yeah.
Sterling, you're
Anyway.
quiet over there.
Yeah, I'm a little quiet. Don't really have an opinion. But anyway, that's a good discussion.
You just want to. I know what you want to do.
That would be
Yes.
a lot more understandable with the credit card contract. That's the ones you
Yeah.
would look out for
Yeah.
because, let's just face it, credit cards are just a scam.
That's
So,
true.
I mean, why do you think our
they're
whole
basically-
country's in debt?
it's
I have a
Because
credit
everybody-
card.
If you could take debt and cram it into a small plastic rectangle that you put into your wallet, then
So
I mean
you're
that's the
saying-
good definition.
So you're saying I'm being scammed because I have a credit card?
Pretty much, credit cards for most people are for people that want to buy stuff they can't afford and normally have no intention of actually paying for it.
I believe that it's possible to have a credit card and not go into that position. But I would say for the most part, you're right, Evan. And credit cards are not good. Generally, I would even say loans aren't good. And I can't really say that because I have a few loans just to go to school here.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Sterling's giving me this look, and I know what it is. He wants to move on to his topic.
Yes.
Because, okay, you know what, Sterling, just dive into
It's
it.
the
What,
sterling
Evan?
stare.
The
what?
Sterling stare.
The sterling
The
stare.
silver stare.
The silver stare. Very
Oh,
awesome.
that sounds really lame.
Anyway.
That's cliche.
We're going to move on to
Sounds
a
like a Dragon Ball Z
It
movie.
sounds like Chronicles of Narnia.
The silver stare?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the silver chair. But anyway. Yeah, I just schooled you on knowledge. Anyway. This is a completely different subject we're about to talk about. The movie Gravity. Now, this movie, I'm going to be honest. When I saw the trailer, I just didn't think too much of it. Sandra Bullock in space. I don't really buy that. Evan, do you buy Sandra Bullock as an astronaut? Evan? What are you doing?
Not really.
Matt is just pointing at Evan right now.
No! I'm trying to get him to hand me my phone. Not that I'm not interested in
What-
what you're saying, but I want to be able to keep track of time, and also my topic involves me
All right.
using the internet.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, continue. I'm
Hey.
sorry.
But anyway, Evan,
Sooner or later, people, by the way, we will be filming these podcasts so you can actually see
Yes.
the intense, raw action of three guys talking in a room.
we're just sitting around, really. Anyway, both of you saw the trailer for Gravity, correct?
Yes,
Now,
at least 2.5
Yeah.
times.
a half?
I didn't want to watch the whole thing again.
Okay. Well, anyway, did both of you get the same kind of reaction that I got? I was like, Sandra Bullock as an astronaut. Don't buy that.
To be honest, yeah, a little bit.
A little bit,
It was a
'cause-
little weird.
Because, when I think of Sandra Bullock, I think of romantic comedies.
You think of
And the
she's
Blind
kind of
Side.
funny and like
Yes.
usually the kind of
You don't see a whole lot of serious roles from her.
Okay.
I don't think so.
After Miss Congeniality 2, it was hard. It's hard for me to be able to take her seriously
and she
in
does
a
she
role
does,
like that.
she does great in, like, for instance, Miss Congeniality, recently
Yeah.
The Heat, which I didn't
Well-
see, but what I've heard is it's a really funny movie. She's good at comedy and maybe a little action mixed in some serious moments, but
Okay,
yeah, I don't see her as being an astronaut for two reasons. One,
Yeah.
astronauts, they have to be really intelligent,
yes.
and I'm not dissing Sandra Bullock,
Yes.
but she doesn't seem like an intellectual
Well,
type.
That's the impression I got when I saw the trailer. Now, I will say this. I mean, the special effects, they look really good in the trailer. I thought, there's probably going to be intense scenes in this movie. And I was a little interested in that. And then whenever I saw Rotten Tomatoes, 99%, okay, I saw that, and I saw an average rating of 9.3 out of 10. that got me a lot more interested in seeing this movie. I thought, hey, maybe it's a lot better than I thought. But I went to go see it during fall break, Friday night, and I went to go see it with my cousin. We both were bored, and we just wanted to go see a movie. So anyway, and I gotta say, this is the best film I've seen all this year. Now, Evan, I know you saw the movie. What did you think about it?
It is one of the few movies I've seen over the past 2 years that hasn't disappointed me, honestly.
Okay.
Just to be honest, I mean, I
But you
saw
had
it-
low expectations for this film, right?
Yeah.
And so did I.
I
had low.
haven't seen the movie, and what I want to know is, why do you guys? What makes it a great movie?
The reason that it's such a great movie. Now, a lot of people will say, "Oh, they asked me a lot of people ask me the question, did you see it in 3D?" And then I did see it in 3D, and they said, "Okay, well, that's why it was good." Okay, first of all, 3D is never that good.
That's true.
3
I've seen very
Yes.
few IMAX 3D movies. Tron was pretty good,
Yeah.
altogether in IMAX visually.
Yes.
But yeah, I see what you're
Avatar
saying.
was the best 3D movie by far.
I never saw Avatar in 3D.
Well, that's stupid. But anyway,
You
that was
suck.
I know. I don't know why. I watched the movie once and I couldn't make it through a second time. I didn't enjoy the movie.
We
Anyway.
went and watched it when it first came out.
Yeah, but we didn't watch it in 3D,
No, we went to the movie
like
machine.
Palace or something.
Yeah, let's move on. Anyway, the 3D is pretty good in this film. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that are flying at your face, and it's good. But that's not the reason why it was a great movie. The reason why it's a great movie, number one, the visuals they're just mind blowing. I don't know how they got these visuals on a $105 million budget. It looks like a $200 million budget. I mean, the visual, you felt like you were in space. You felt like you were watching Sandra Bullock and George Clooney in space. I mean, it didn't feel like it was on a set at all. But not only that, the music. I dare anyone to go listen to the soundtrack for this movie
And
on
not-
YouTube.
Not shed a tear.
Well, okay. You don't have to cry listening to this music, but
Well, I know. But,
emotionally invested. How about that?
okay.
If it doesn't get you emotionally invested into the music, I don't know what will, because it's that good. But not only that, I think Sandra Bullock's performance is great in this film. Now, it's not a complicated story at all. It's basically you watch the trials of Sandra Bullock as she tries to get back to Earth.
Okay, we're
And-
talking about
so-
talking about Sandra Bullock a lot,
Yeah.
and this is because I don't know anything about the movie. George Clooney, isn't he also? Aren't they both lost in space at the same time?
Well, that'd
they
be a
connect-
spoiler.
Okay, don't spoil it. But are you saying that Sandra Bullock?
Most
has
of the
bigger role?
time, it's Sandra Bullock in this
Okay.
film. Most of the time, it's her.
Now, does it have any flashback sequences, that kind of thing? Is that
No.
how they?
No
Just her-
flashback sequences.
It's all in
It,
space.
it doesn't give you backstory at all. The only backstory you get is from the characters themselves.
So this movie's in space,
Yes.
front to back.
Yes.
Okay.
Except for the ending. Which, that's actually one of the few problems I had with the film, is the ending. It just didn't have much closure at all. Which, a film like this needs closure, because
Yeah.
this is not going to be a franchise. No matter how popular it is, which, by the way, I think it's been number one in the box office for 3 straight weeks. It's grossed over $200 million in the box office, so it's already doubled its budget.
I gotta say, I was assuming, even though you really like this movie, just because I get a sense of what kind of movies you like, Sterling, I got a sense that I would not like this movie. But the fact that Evan wasn't disappointed by it, and
Yeah.
no joke, the last 2 or 3 weeks, Evan has talked about how every movie he's seen is disappointing. Saying that he's not disappointed by this movie makes me think that I might actually enjoy it.
But here's another thing that I like about this movie. It's not too long. It's actually the perfect amount. It's the perfect runtime. It's about, what you just say, like an hour and 45 minutes, Evan, probably. I didn't check, but it was about an hour and what?
Can I see that?
Yes, here you go.
Okay.
I'm passing Matt my laptop, by the way.
We'll most likely edit it out, but
Anyway, so Evan, what were the things that stood out to you in this film that didn't make it disappointing?
The visuals, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
The characters were a lot better established.
Yeah. Well, yes. See, that's the thing that impressed me about this film is that even with no character development, I still cared about the characters. I mean, George Clooney was a likable guy in this film, and Sandra Bullock. I mean, I wanted her. I was cheering for her the whole time. It was that intense of a movie for me. But also, this movie is more of an experience than a movie. I would say. What would you say, Evan?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of an experience. It's not really. There's not a narrative to it. Not really a whole lot of. It's not the most structurally sound movie you'll ever see. It's not. It doesn't have the most complex script. It doesn't have the most complex story. But what it does so well is the execution, in my opinion. I mean, what do you have to say?
That's mostly because their entire budget went into special effects. So.
But whoever did the soundtrack, by the way, I mean, needs to get a lot of credit because I don't think the film would be as good as it turned out to be without that soundtrack. I mean, do you pay attention to soundtracks, by the way, Evan?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Matt, I would highly recommend to go see it.
Okay.
You should have went to go see it like as homework since we're gonna talk. You knew we were gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's nice to have someone on here who hasn't seen it.
that's true. Yeah, Evan is making faces.
Evan's mocking me.
Anyway, Matt, what did you want to talk about today, bud? What is your perspective?
For one thing, you just talked to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I don't appreciate that.
Evan? Or me?
You just said, I don't know the way you said it, but anyway. Okay, let's digress a little bit here. The thing, Evan, what's our runtime, by the way?
16 minutes.
16? Okay. We were talking about movies, and this actually, I had another topic in mind, but we can save that. It wasn't, I don't know if it would be quite as interesting or something that I would care as much about. But me and Sterling were talking about movies. We're talking about the fact that, and I think this was because we were talking about Gravity, but we were talking about the fact that that the way critics view movies, you can generally know that a movie's going to be good. Maybe visually, maybe the acting's good and that kind of thing. But there's a lot of movies like that win tons of awards that have 90% on Rotten Tomatoes that I don't enjoy and I'm not entertained by. And I guess the thing I wanted to talk about was there's different movies, and you guys be sure to, add some movies in here if you have any. But I basically want to talk about there's some movies, generally a lot of times they're cult classics, or sometimes they're not. They're just by everyone considered terrible movies that I enjoy and I actually will watch. And
well, that's the point. Well, first of all,
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. Everybody should understand that all movies are subjective.
Yeah, exactly.
It cannot be measured. There is no right or wrong opinions. It is all. It's subjective.
Yeah, I think because being entertained by if the whole purpose of the movie is to entertain you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't need the greatest.
It's a work
actors.
of art.
Yeah.
It's a work of art.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you can usually tell if a movie's gonna be good by reviews that are favorable. But a lot of times, movies that have bad reviews, I might find entertaining, but I wouldn't know that because all the people are critiquing is the acting's a little weird, the editing's a little weird, that kind of thing. But I might find it to be a hilarious movie or something.
So you want some movies from us that.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Okay. One of my favorite movies of all time, which is actually a cult classic, is Army of Darkness. Or speaking of Army of Darkness, The Evil Dead, also, which is the original. And so let me pull this up.
They did make an Evil Dead remake earlier this year,
which, by the way, did well, I believe. But
okay.
we can talk about that another time. I happen to be a very big fan of horror movies, not like, and when I say horror movies, I don't mean Insidious, which was a pretty good movie, but those kind of modern movies, the weird possessed movies, those kind of things. I am a big fan of cult classics, like, for instance, Friday the 13th, and not just Friday the 13th, and I guess this is an example of movies that I enjoy that people don't. Friday the 13th is, of course, a classic, so a lot of people say it's good. If you watched it now, and if you got someone to watch a modern teenager to watch it, they would probably think that it's a terrible movie. And especially the sequels, which in a lot of ways the sequels are terrible, but I enjoy watching them. I believe there's 9 Friday the 13th movies. And the one that I finally actually drew back on was called Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
And the plot was terrible, so terrible that I didn't even want to watch it anymore. But there's some other ones in there
There's
that are
10.
bad.
There's
What?
10.
10, yeah. Oh, are you counting the remake?
So what?
Jason X.
Okay, but
What
anyway,
is the
like, for
one
instance,
movie? What is the one movie you can think of that you like, but everyone else hates?
I can't say everyone else hates it, but like for instance, I was saying Army of Darkness. That's a
Okay.
movie that generally, if you showed someone, they'd be like, "Okay, the acting's terrible in this.
Yes.
The effects are bad." But it's almost, and I'm not too sure.
It's a
on this,
movie that the
it's almost
point-
like it was made to be a B movie.
It's made to be campy. Is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, Bruce Campbell is considered the king of B movies, and but I just really love this movie, and there's a cult following to this movie because people love that the thing about it.
Okay.
But if you showed it to a general person who maybe a very critical person who likes, who likes those those kind of artsy kind of movies, they probably would hate Army of Darkness, and a lot of people probably would because they just wouldn't get it. There's and other cult classics, for instance, like Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best way I can describe the Holy Grail is hit and miss because either you love that movie and it's one of your favorite, it's hilarious, or you hate that movie.
Yeah.
And that's either way it goes. I happen to be one of the people who really loves it because I really enjoy conversational humor. I know Evan's a big fan. He got me into the Monty Python stuff. And yeah, so I mean those are just examples, but
Well, one movie that I can give that I love the movie, but there's a lot of people that dislike it, and that's Star Wars Episode 3.
that's true.
I love that movie, but I know a lot of Star Wars fans that continue to this day, they hate the prequels. They just cannot stand the prequels at all. And I can understand Episode 1. Episode 1 was terrible.
Episode 1 was real. And here's the thing for me. I'll admit it, because a lot of Star Wars fans try to pretend that Evan, I'm not talking about Evan here because I know he actually did own the VHS of the original 3. But when I was growing up, Star Wars Episode 1 came out. When
Yeah.
I was like, what, 8 or 7 or 8?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you, yeah, I mean.
Well, 1999, so that I'd be 5. And
Yeah, so
okay.
we were young. That's what
Yeah.
we grew up as Star Wars. So I remember loving Star Wars Episode 1. I thought Jar Jar Binks was funny, and I
Yeah.
know any Star Wars fan right now is like cringing at me saying that, but I
Yes.
thought Jar Jar Binks was funny. I loved Episode 1. Darth Maul is still one of my favorite bad guys. He's awesome.
The problem with that film is that all you remember from that film is double lightsaber,
Yeah.
Darth Maul, and Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
You don't remember any of the the senator.
Yeah.
Remember the? Do you remember
The senators
yeah.
that sound like they're
Remember
Asian
Coruscant
Americans.
section? No, you don't. Of course not. No one remembers
But
Coruscant.
what
in
I'm
that
saying
film.
is I grew up watching these 3 episodes, and I remember going to the premiere of Star Wars Episode 3 and thinking it was awesome. I never
did too.
viewed these, and then all
and
of a
I
sudden...
still love the film, even to this
Star
day.
Wars Episode 3, I will agree with you.
Yeah.
I out of the 3 of them, the one that I can't stand to watch is... The one thing I hate about Episode 1 the most is I don't know the child actor who played Anakin, I don't know his name.
Oh, he did terrible.
He did terrible at acting. He just did.
terrible.
The second movie...
It was just
the
love story was
love
just-
story was terrible.
didn't work at all.
Episode 3 is where it really started redeeming itself, and I enjoyed it. How the heck did we end up talking about Star
Okay.
Wars?
Anyway,
Okay, the kid that played Anakin, okay, he's already paid the price for his sins, okay? I mean, he's been made fun of pretty much since day one.
And his
since he acted
career
in
is-
that movie.
That's true.
Yes.
And
I'm not
he
hates
trashing
it,
on him,
so-
but I can't stand to watch a movie because of that. But Star Wars Episode 3 is bearable, it's
Yeah.
watchable, and
now
but
we
when
should
I-
go on the opposite side. What are movies that you hate that most people like?
Cars.
Twilight.
Well,
Twilight. Everyone hates Twilight. the first one.
yeah.
There's fangirls who won't admit it, but really, and I'll be completely honest. Some of the Twilight movies are, I don't know, I've never watched a complete one, but I'd say that the later ones are probably better.
I watched 20 minutes of the second one. I was depressed.
Because I don't like to dog on a
Yeah,
movie.
the
just 'cause
second one
everyone
made me
else
want to
does.
kill myself.
But
Really, really
I
did.
did watch about 2/3 or maybe 2/4 of the first movie, and I just had to stop watching it. I hated it. It wasn't a
One
good
film that that I hated. Well, actually, I generally don't hate a lot of films. Actually, So
Yeah.
it's actually kind of hard for me to think about that.
I can agree with
I
you.
mean-
There's few films. Even that's what I'm saying is there's a lot of movies that are considered bad. can find a way to find
The
entertainment.
films that I don't like are usually films that most people don't like. So
High School Musical.
Okay, you're naming movies that are just bred for hate.
yeah,
But I gotta. Okay, here's one, and I don't know what your guys' opinion on I love Pixar movies, Toy Story, other animated films by Pixar. No, but the point is, Cars. I don't know why I could not finish that movie. And when that first came out, I was probably
Well-
14 or something. I just don't like Cars. It was
Yeah.
not funny to me at all.
I
I didn't
wouldn't-
understand it.
I wouldn't
didn't
say
like
most
it.
people like Cars. Actually, it would
I
have
thought
been
that-
mixed. It would have been mixed.
Maybe it was mixed, but
I mean, the second one, everyone just didn't like it at all.
But
I-
I can't watch both of them. And now Planes came out, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Why did they make sequels to Cars, which was terrible in my opinion, and they don't make a sequel to The Incredibles, which was the best Pixar movie ever made, and in my top 10 movie list.
Yeah, I don't know. That should be actually another topic. Sequels.
Sequels
That
that
should
should
be
be
made.
made, and
That sh-
sequels that shouldn't be made.
Yes.
Evan, what's our runtime?
Star Wars Episode 2. Anyway,
We're at about 25 minutes.
all right. Well,
we
I
should
think
wrap
that's a good stopping point right there. We've pretty much talked ourselves out.
We have a lot of opinions on movies, people.
Well, you didn't
Yes.
even wait for me to give my opinion about anything. So
You gotta you gotta go.
You gotta
get in.
You
there.
gotta get in there, Evan. I mean, seriously, come on. He's just staring
you
me
did
down.
make an opinion several times.
all right, well, forget it.
Anyway,
I'd probably just-
hope you all enjoyed that.
Everyone would be offended by the time I was done, so I'm not going to do that.
Anyway, hope
That's
you all
true.
enjoyed our time together, listening to us. Anyway, hope you all have a good
We got
day.
on a lot of bunny trails.
Yes, I hope
We got a little distracted, but that's okay. The show. Also, what I want to do eventually for the viewers is we should have people, even if it's a podcast, we can still do this. We should get people to call in at some points or have visitors on the show.
yeah.
But anyway,
Hopefully, we can get to that point.
but
we need your
We're
help.
gonna improve the show, but we need help. We need support. We need comments. We need,
We need you.
we
Yes,
need you.
we need you.
We're on YouTube, right?
I would do. Yeah.
Yes, we're on YouTube.
All right, we're on YouTube. Watch us, subscribe, send our crap to all your friends, and
Hope you all have
the
a
more
great-
people we reach, the more likely we will be funded. So it's up to you guys. And balls in your court.
Really.
Evan laying down the guilt trip.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So we never know how to end the show. We need an outro.
Anyway, I will do the outro. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great week. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
What was I?